Meanwhile, we'd like to welcome our guest for this morning. He'll be joining us to help talk about the issues, break down this match with us. Who else? Who else we could drag in at 4 o'clock in the morning? Ronnie Nathaniels, good morning.
Good morning, TJ. Well, firstly, I love the sport. This is my passion. I love to be with you. Okay, my protege of many years ago, and I love this network.
Thank you so much. Okay, well, we try to get Diane on the line and or the communication lines back up. How are you feeling right now with regard to this fight? It's been a few weeks since the big announcement that they finally got together. Everything was ironed out. The issues with the networks, the promoters, and the fighters themselves in particular.
Well, it's great. It's great news. I mean, it's an enthralling fight. You really cannot put your finger on who is going to win this fight. You try to break it down day after day, the pluses and the minuses of the two fighters, and you still come up with, I really don't know. It's a 50-50 thing. It's a toss your coin. But my heart says it's got to be Manny Pacquiao.
Okay.
And there are many things going for Manny. His speed, I think he's faster than Floyd Mayweather. His power, certainly better than Floyd Mayweather. His footwork, and he's in good. His lateral movements are terrific. Floyd Mayweather has slowed down very clearly. Okay. And he's getting hit more often than he ever got hit before. So those are the factors going for Manny Pacquiao. But when you look at Floyd Mayweather, you look at his record, 47-0, you see his skill, his innate skill. You realize that Manny has a fight on his hands.
And would you say that he's still one of the smartest boxers?
Oh yes,
in the ring,
by far the smartest. And Megulang pa, I mean, you know, when he has the shoulder roll, he decides to throw his elbow too. So, but you know, I discovered something when I replayed the fight of Elorde, and Nonito Donaire was watching it. He said, "Hey, that's the shoulder roll. That's the man who started the shoulder roll." Flash Elorde.
Flash, the Flash Elorde. Was doing the shoulder roll back then.
Yeah, but never knew it was a shoulder roll.
There's no name for it then.
There's no name for it then.
And then others started doing it, and the name was coined. Okay, but you know, a lot of people are still trying to. And now that this is happening, and some people are saying we wish this happened 6 years ago.
Not necessarily.
When it was first being talked about, when they were in their prime, arguably.
All right. Well, they were in their prime, fine, but both of them have gone 5 years later. So they have both retrogressed, if you want to put it that way. So it should be an even playing field. That's why it's going to be a very interesting fight. And I think both of them are much smarter today than they would have been.
So we'll see a smarter fight.
Yeah.
Would you say from both, rather than possibly 5-6 years ago, more of a slugfest?
Right. A much smarter fight and a much smarter Pacquiao. That's the more important thing for us.
Well, one thing that a lot of people are already commending him for being smart right now is the fact that he's setting up his whole training camp in LA. Ronnie, I can't remember the last time he did that, honestly. I mean, because he's mixed it up, and he's had the call. I mean, before it was Roach would tell him where to go, when to go.
Yeah.
And then it suddenly shifted to Manny's the boss, and he says, I want to do it in Jensen for 5 weeks. I want to do it in Baguio for a few weeks. I want to do something in Manila. Do you even recall the last time it was a full 8 weeks in LA?
No.
See?
To be honest with you,
right?
You know. But it obviously tells you that Manny Pacquiao is taking this fight most seriously.
Oh, absolutely.
He realizes that the only way for him to be able to beat Mayweather is to concentrate, work hard in under Roach at the Wild Card Gym, get their game plan or fight plan together. They're talking more strategy now than they ever did in their life. And I think the sparring is going to be reduced. Before, if he did 120, this time he'll do maybe 70, 80 rounds. So that's an indication that his physical, because he wants to go 12 rounds if he has to. So, and he wants to go 12 rounds with a lot of pace, a lot of aggression, with controlled aggression. So he's got to be physically fit. That's why he's concentrating on his physical fitness first, then the game plan, the techniques, and ultimately the fight itself.
So would you say that, technically speaking, the fight has already begun for Manny Pacquiao with the way that he is preparing?
Yes. You know, TJ, if you recall, when he beat Oscar de la Hoya, Buboy Fernandez, credit to him, and Manny, broke down Oscar de la Hoya frame by frame. And then they calculated how many seconds Pacquiao would have to go in and go out. They calculated that to the last second.
That's like a assassin jumping in
Exactly.
for a few moments and then
And
has
if
to
you
jump
look
out.
at that fight, you realize how well Manny followed that plan.
To the T.
To the T. He got in and got out before De La Hoya could throw a punch. And Boy calculated it takes him 4 seconds to react
Wow.
before he can throw a punch. So Manny was in and out before 4 seconds.
3.5.
3.5. Problema, yeah.
Okay.
So that's the way they're doing this one, because Manny is watching tapes of Mayweather.
Okay.
Yeah. I can give him a cartload of tapes if he wants.
Well, if you look at previous fights, and obviously that's always where you want to look at and compare these two fighters, especially now that they're not in their primes anymore. They've both regressed but gotten smarter. How would you grade the quality of the opponents respectively? I mean, you look at Mayweather, he's fought Marcos Maidana twice. Those were his last 2 fights. Saul Alvarez, Robert Guerrero, and Miguel Cotto in 2012. And then, of course, his last knockout win was against Victor Ortiz, which some people don't even want to credit as a knockout win.
That's not a knockout.
Because it was
That's
a
cheap
punch.
shot.
Yeah. So let's start from
Is there a
Cotto.
column for cheap shots?
I don't know, there's not. But let's start with Cotto and moving up. How would you grade Mayweather's performance against these particular fighters? And I know I learned this from you as well. You like gauging fighters based on not just their record, but who they fought.
Right. Now, Cotto gave him a rough time, gave him a hard time. Pacquiao, on the other hand, took care of Cotto in 12 rounds, TKO. Dropped him 3 times, I think, on that fight. So if you're going to compare the two, then Pacquiao definitely has the edge, because he fought Cotto when Cotto was younger and Cotto was at his prime. Mayweather fought him a couple of years later, but had a much harder time. The difference was that Freddie Roach was coaching, training Cotto at that time.
So that could have been the difference.
Oh, that could have been the difference for sure.
Oh, well, okay, well, lots more to talk about, lots more to break down with Ronnie and to try to pick his brains, but we'll get into some news bits for now first. Folks, it's not only the fight fans who are excited to see Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Manny Pacquiao face off in a press conference for the first time.